Hello and welcome to my weekly video blog, and today on A Vogel Talks Menopause I'm going to be talking about menopause migraines, how they feel and what you can do to help yourself. If you like my tips and advice, then please subscribe and remember to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of all my new videos. Migraines are really quite common in the perimenopause and the menopause. They are one of the really horrible symptoms. They can be very painful, they can be very debilitating, and women tell me they sometimes have to spend 2 or 3 days in bed to get over them completely. Some women find that if they already suffer from migraines, they get worse and more frequent in the perimenopause, and for some women they develop for the first time. So today I'm going to talk about how you can tell the difference between a migraine and a headache, when are they likely to stop, and what you can do to help yourself. So why do they get worse or happen in the first place in the menopause? The main reason is estrogen. In the perimenopause, as your estrogen starts to fluctuate, this can have an effect on your blood vessels. So the blood vessels are more prone to spasming, which means that they can open up and close very quickly, just in a matter of seconds. And that opening and closing of the blood vessels can trigger a migraine cascade. So once this first step happens, it's a bit like a row of dominoes. Once the first step happens, it goes on to the next step and so on, and then you end up with a full-blown migraine. Sometimes it can happen for the first time in the perimenopause, as I mentioned, so women will suddenly find that maybe beforehand they had premenstrual headaches and now they're getting premenstrual migraines. And again, especially if it happens just before a period, it's that sudden dip of estrogen just before a period that will trigger these particular migraines. Interestingly enough, for a few women who already suffer from migraines, because of the way their estrogen is behaving, the migraines can stop. So for some women it can have a little bit of a positive effect. Two of the most common triggers are poor sleep and stress, and guess which are also really big symptoms in the menopause. It's poor sleep and stress. So if you're prone to these migraines and your sleep is being really disrupted and you're experiencing more stress and anxiety, then this is another reason why your migraines may be getting worse. What do migraines feel like? A headache tends to be a kind of maybe a thumping pain, whereas for migraines it can be very intense, very area focus, so you might feel that it's just on one side of the head rather than on both sides. It can be a real pulsing pain or a throbbing pain. Some women tell me that they start to see flashing lights just in front of their eyes. Some people find they get a complete aura in their vision, and for other women they start to vomit or feel really nauseous. When do these migraines stop during the perimenopause and the menopause? This is a really difficult one. Unfortunately, a lot of women who suffer from them, it's one of their main questions. It depends on the individual, so it may depend on how you are controlling your estrogen. It may be whether you're managing to get a better night's sleep. So these lifestyle tips can help, but at the end of the day, it may still be just a result of what's happening with your hormones. Very often towards the end of the menopause, when your hormones have fallen and then are leveling off, that may be the point when the migraines start to tail off too. But it is a very individual situation, unfortunately. What can you do to help yourself? A really important thing here is to get your blood sugars level, because again, plummeting blood sugar levels can be another particular trigger. So if you're not eating regularly, if you're going long time without eating anything, then that can quite possibly be another factor. So make sure that you're eating little and often, and avoid things like caffeine and sugar and salty foods, because they're really going to spike your blood sugars, and then you'll get a really big crash afterwards. If you tend to get migraines on a regular basis, then it may be an idea to do a food diary, just to check what you're eating and when you're eating, and you may find that there's a specific food trigger as well that's contributing to the whole situation. Manage your stress, and I know this one is easier said than done, but maybe look at some of the really nice stress remedies such as valerian, passion flower and avena sativa. Look at hydration. Again, dehydration can affect the blood vessels, and that can be another factor too. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water over and above your other daily drinks. Some women tell me they find an ice pack either on the back of the neck or on the forehead, and I think also too you can get little gel packs that you can actually stick to the front of your head. You can usually get those from pharmacies, and they help to keep everything nice and cool as well. Magnesium, studies have shown that magnesium can sometimes be of real benefit with migraines. And remember in the menopause that your body's ability to absorb magnesium can decrease. So you're at a point when you need a lot more magnesium, and your body may not have access to everything that you're eating it from. But the studies show you really need high levels. So you'd be looking at maybe 700-800 milligrams a day for using magnesium for migraines. But there's lots of research out there on magnesium and migraines, so if you're interested, then that's something you could certainly look into for yourself. B vitamins too can be very helpful. They can be very calming on the nervous system. And if you are in the perimenopause, if your periods are starting to tail off, they're starting to get shorter or miss, and you're getting that premenstrual migraine, you may find our menopause support can be of benefit as well. So I hope you found this one helpful. If any of you out there have any tips on how you have managed your migraines, please share them with us, because there's a lot of women out there who are really looking for tips. And until then, I will see you next week for another edition of A Vogel Talks Menopause.